It's Monday, May 1st, 2023, and this is episode 282 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. I'm Mark Duvall.
And I'm Dr. Mike.
Mike, anything interesting happening out your way?
Not really. Just been wacky weather. Warm one day, cold the next.
And no casino visits or anything since our last episode?
No, not since the last episode.
Yeah.
Got too much going on here.
Yeah, busy boy.
Baseball and softball and
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff. Prom next week.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yep.
we're going to have one more episode before our Biloxi trip. So you'll only have a couple more opportunities to gamble a casino your way before then. Getting excited?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm very excited. I want to check Biloxi out and see what it's like and see if it treats me well.
I know
See
you're
if
going to
I'll-
like it. Yeah. Whether you
see
win
if
or
I'll
not,
ever
I
be
can't say.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure I'll like it.
All right. Well, let's get the show started. We got an email from listener Tad. Good question about etiquette at the craps table. He says, what is proper etiquette between the dealer and player when a bet is being paid? Should the player just start yelling, press my bet, parlay, or collect once the bet has won? Will the dealer ask the player what they would like to do with the win when he gets their payout? I want to be respectful at the table. Thanks in advance. Yeah, this is a good question. Basically, he's talking about place bets when people are getting paid around the table. Here's what I would say. First of all, look at in what order the dealer is paying people out. It's going to be clockwise or counterclockwise, depending on what side of the table you're on. But once you see, the direction that they're going, then you'll know when the dealer is about to pay you off. So you don't want to, as soon as you see, a 6 is rolled, I want to press. You don't want to just say press unless maybe you're the first one that he's going to pay out. So first get a sense for where you are in the order.
Right.
Sometimes the dealer will ask. I think most times they don't, especially if there are a lot of people at the table, they just start paying.
See, now, if you've been there a while at the table and they know kind of your routine or you're a regular player, they usually don't ask. They kind of know, he just collects or he's going to press the first one. But if you're new to that table and the dealers don't know you, you have to, they'll pretty much just pay you unless you say something.
And again, they might ask. So be prepared for that, because sometimes as a player, you might not expect the dealer to ask you a question when they're paying you off. Same bet, press, or that kind of thing. But once you know when it is your turn, when they're about to pay you off, let them know what you want to do. So I always, as soon as I get to a new table, when I see where it's my turn, he's about to pay me off, I'll always just say, same bet. That's almost the default, is that it's going to be a same bet. You don't want to press, you don't want to change anything. But that kind of establishes a communication with the dealer. Oh, okay, this guy, Mark, he's going to tell me what he wants to do when it comes there. So I always, same bet, even though the way I play, it's usually same bet quite a few times before I think about pressing.
You're very easy because it's same bet. And then if you do say press, they stop the game. They have to check the cameras.
That's right.
Make sure everything's happening.
They ask for my ID.
Yeah, they ask for your ID. They check the TV, see if the world's ending.
But then,
stuff like that.
If it is a hot roll, maybe the first time I'll say press. And then when it comes to me again, maybe I'll say go to 90. Like I have a $60 bet. I want to make it real clear. I don't want to say press 1 unit or whatever. I don't like doing that because that can be confusing. Just go to 90, go to 120, that kind of thing.
That's always best to say the amount you want to go to.
Yeah.
I think, like, I'm at 120, it hits, I say go to 150. I don't say press because that'd be 240.
Right. And, there are some people who, when one of their numbers hits, they press a different number, or they press that number plus a different number. Oh, the 6 hit? Okay, press my 6 and 8 1 unit. Or the 6 hits. All right, take my 5 to 50. But I think the key is just know when you're next to be paid, when it's your turn, so that you're not telling the dealer what you want to do with your bet when he hasn't gotten to you yet. That's kind of the advice that I would give.
Yeah, it's like saying he killed him dead.
How is it like we killed him dead? That's redundant. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
No, that makes it very explicit about what happened. He killed him dead.
Oh, okay. So you're saying that he killed him dead. That's a good thing because it's very clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw it on Bones when they had that. David Alan Grier played the visiting doctor. He was like a science guy on TV, like Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Uh-huh.
And he said, kill them dead. And she corrected him and said, that's, redundant, just like you did with me. And he said, no, that's clarity.
Okay.
That's very clear what happened.
All right.
And clarity is always important, especially in craps.
Well,
Those are the exact words.
I appreciate you bringing bones into the conversation, especially since, the dice roll the bones. You brought it all full circle. Fantastic. Yep. We should just sign off now.
Not going to outdo that, Mark.
All right. Well, thanks for that good question, Tad. We got another email from listener Mark. I have some information that I think will be helpful to your listeners. There are some machines in casinos that will say no points, no free play. I have often found these stickers on electronic craps games in their various forms. So yeah, they're just letting you know that if you play this game, you're not going to get any tier credits, nothing. You're not going to earn anything. I've always wondered if it makes any sense to bother putting in your players' cards into these machines, since they're not giving you points for your play. Well, I was at Circa recently, and I asked that question of the representative at the Players Club. The guy at the desk wasn't sure, so he called his supervisor out. She told me that while they don't give points, your coin in is known by the casino, and it is still used in determining room and food and beverage offers. I had been playing for a while, and I asked if she could see my play, and she told me she could. And she even knew that I'd played the day before. She told me what my coin in was for each day, and I was astonished. So yes, always use your player's cards. Some people have superstitions like, oh, the slot's not going to pay. Or we kind of talked about this on the previous episode. Oh, they know how much I won, so it's got to tighten up. No. Put your players.
If you're in witness protection program and you're using your real name on your rewards card, then don't use it.
Okay, I guess you found another reason. Yeah, that's good advice.
Always use it. You see it all the time, Mark. Some guy will walk up to the craps table. He'll throw down $100, like on a $10 table, right? Mm-hmm. And they'll say, you have a card? Oh, no, I don't want to, or I don't have one, or whatever. Sometimes they actually say, no, I don't want to be rated. Yeah. Well, that's just stupid. How can that hurt you? Because when you buy in for that 100, you don't know, you might walk away with $1,000.
Yeah.
And then you might want to ask for a free meal, and they might say, oh, okay, let me give you a comp to the cafe or something. So why wouldn't you not do it?
All right. Well, there actually is another reason. I can't believe we're sitting here spouting off about all these things.
Yeah, I know what the other reason is.
The other reason is maybe you don't want it to bring down your ADT, right? If it's, we talked about this, it's Sunday, you're only going to play for a half hour. Maybe don't use your card because it will show a very low amount of play for that day, and that will bring down your average daily theoretical, which is what a lot of casinos use to determine what kind of comps you're going to get. So,
and I would say to that the guy buying in for 100 is not worried about his ADT, as most people aren't, right?
Well, but I mean,
for us, we go quite often, and our ADT is very important. But for somebody who's just there, they go to Vegas twice a year, then it's not going to matter that much.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I also think that our listeners are a little more informed than the typical gambler. We call ourselves recreational players plus. So this is a good thing to keep in mind for the Rec Plus players.
The Rec Plus players, they should have a, instead of a blue dot or something, we get some kind of check mark that's like, I don't know, what would it be?
I don't know. You mean on Twitter?
Yeah.
Something for Rec Plus players?
Check mark that says that we're recreational plus players.
Yeah, I guess. What would that get us? I don't know. Casinos would seek us out?
Yeah, a little red plus there.
All right. Talk to Elon Musk, Mike, about that. You've got ends with him, don't you?
Yeah, he's very accessible.
Okay, very good. As I'm sitting here thinking about it, here I made this absolute statement that this is the only time you shouldn't use your. Well, maybe you shouldn't use your spouse's card if they're also using their card, and that might get you in trouble with the casino, right?
Yeah.
A lot of casinos, they don't care if you're using the same card at two different machines, say.
isn't that funny how
that. Yeah.
some frown on that and
Yeah.
some don't care? If we owned a casino, and when we do own a casino, I wouldn't care. You could have all your family members putting money
I'd
in the
encourage it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, no more absolute statements. Those are some reasons you might not want to use your card, and maybe there are a bunch of other ones too. But in most cases, well, especially in this case that Mark brought up, even though the machine says, hey, you won't earn points on this, go ahead and put your card in because it still may help with comps down the road.
Yeah, I always put mine in. Now, if I was doing, like you said, if I was leaving in the morning and I had 10 minutes and I wanted to play a slot machine, I probably wouldn't put it in.
Right.
But then again, I might anyway. What the hell?
Yeah. Sure, Dr. Mike.
You said no absolute statements, so now you can't say stuff like, well, Mike bet on the Padres today, so absolutely don't bet on them.
Yeah, I don't know. That seems like an absolute that's money in the bank. All right. Thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first. You can bet on that.com and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right, let's move on to voicemails. First up is Dr. Brendan.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Dr. Brendan, your correspondent from Indianapolis. So I just went up to Four Winds Casino South Bend. That is a fantastic casino. They just finished building the hotel up there. So you stay up there, get your comp nights, and hang out at a very new, very clean, smoke-free casino. They've got one roll-to-win craps table. They've got one regular table. I was there today on a Monday, and they had a $10 game. And Saturday, allowing you to buy the 4 and 10 for $10. Now, mind you, you're getting, I guess the true payout for the bag on that would be 50 cents. I don't know, 50 cents, yes, but they'll give you $1. So that's still $1 more than you would have got by placing the 4 and 10. So, pretty cool. I didn't know that was a thing. They also have a bunch of $10, $15, 3-2 blackjack games, and $5 Mississippi stud. The video poker pay tables are pretty mediocre, but they are very new, clean machines. I did have a weird, I want to say, interaction with a player while I was at the craps table. This guy had this weird thing where you couldn't talk about the roll. If you said anything about the game itself, he actually got pretty mad. I was just kind of shocked at that. We were coming out. The guy had thrown a bunch of 9s on his previous roll, and it came out on a 9. Looked at the guy next to me, and I'm like, oh, man, this guy's just going to hit a bunch of 9s again. Immediately after that, it was a 7 out, and then this guy just goes ballistic. He's just like, oh, you said 9, so therefore, of course he's not going to make a whole bunch of 9s. The other number's going to come out. Storms off, leaves the other side of the table. I don't know. That was a weird one. I don't know if it's superstition or he was just not having it. Mind you, we're all kind of getting killed at that point, so maybe it was just his way of blowing off some steam at me. One more thing about Four Winds South Bend. They had a giveaway offer, which was probably one of the weirder ones. Maybe not your 6-pack of cola that you guys picked up that one time, but it was for Easter, a free holiday ham. So go get your 100-tier credit and pick up a ham. That being said, if you want a nice casino to check out Four Winds South Bend. Have a good one, guys.
Yeah, I don't know. An Easter ham, that's not too bad a giveaway.
No, at Pala Casino, they always gave a turkey.
A big turkey, yeah.
Yeah, Thanksgiving, they gave you a turkey.
So, I don't know. I mean, there are definitely weirder ones. If they gave me a ham, I'd take it.
Oh, yeah. Well, depending on what kind of ham. Some hams I don't like if they're, too salty or I don't know. I'm not a big honey baked ham guy either.
Come on, Mike. Honey baked. No. It's wonderful. No. Oh, my gosh. We just had some recently. That's good ham, Mike.
That's too sweet, Mark.
Too sweet. Oh, I see. Too sweet. It's definitely a sweet ham. I mean, I'll give you that. I like the sweetness. It's like when
it's coming from me too. I love sweet.
It's like when the syrup gets on your sausage when you're having breakfast with your pancakes. Yeah. That's what it's like.
That is good.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like ordering chocolate chip pancakes and then pouring chocolate syrup on top.
Years ago, folks, we would spend all night at the casino. And then at like 6 a.m, we'd go to a pancake place. And that was my thing. Chocolate chip pancakes with chocolate syrup. Oh, man, that's good eating.
I don't know. I'm still going with maple, but chocolate syrup, yeah, it's all right.
Hey, Mike, I want you to do something for me when we're in Biloxi. I already told you. I want you to make sure that every time I roll, it's nobody ever believes in you. Nobody,
Yeah.
right? So don't forget that. And then also,
how would this guy on that table have liked that?
this is
if
what
instead of we don't believe in you.
Anytime I 7 out, make sure I blame somebody at the table for it happening.
Okay.
Why would you take your drink right then when I was rolling? And it just make sure I have an excuse every time.
Mark, this guy that Brendan was talking about would love you because you'd be sitting at the table and you would be announcing the Pai Gow hand at the table behind us. See? And that would be great because he'd be like, oh, great. He's not talking about this game. He's talking about that game. We're going to have a monster roll. Oh, God.
Oh, that's great.
How would you ever play craps if you didn't want anyone talking about the game?
Please don't let me forget, Mike. No matter what, I have to blame somebody.
Is it somebody or something?
It has to be a player.
It has to be a player.
Not the dealers, not the cocktail server.
All right,
no,
nobody play with Mark during the trip. He'll just play with strangers.
That's right. Yeah, or just an empty table. Nobody ever believes in you.
Oh my God, that'll be great. Why were you breathing? Why are you breathing so hard?
Hold your breath. Well, yeah, buying the 4 and 10 for only $10, if they'll let you do it, is a better bet than a place bet if you pay the VIG only on wins. Yes, You're paying 10% instead of 5%. But think about it. You have a $10 bet. You get paid $20 and you give them $1. Right, for the VIG.
And so you get 19 instead of 18.
18. So, yeah. So if you have to pay the VIG up front, no, absolutely. Stay away from that.
Yeah. And I've never been to a casino that it's usually $20.
Yeah, sometimes they won't even let you, regardless. Even if you said, hey, I want to, they won't let you.
So what about 15? I wonder what they take. I guess
it's a good question. I would think that it would be 20 or nothing. Like if they won't take a $10 bet, they probably won't take a $15 bet.
No.
But if they
the ones I go to don't.
Yeah, if they would, though, it'd be $1. But again, still only do it if you pay only on the win. Yeah.
You know what's great about this world we live in?
What's that, Dr. Mike?
It's full of people.
Uh-huh. That's the great thing.
And they're so bizarre. It is so much fun.
Yeah.
Everyone will tell you this, Mark. It's fun just to watch people.
Well, yeah, that's for sure.
I mean, God, you could stand behind a craps table with a guy like that and just laugh and laugh and laugh. Oh, my God. I mean, really? Somebody did something?
Very positive attitude from you, Dr. Mike. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yes.
All right. Next call.
Hi, this is Jeremy from Iowa giving you a call. I've been listening for about a year, and this is my first time calling in. Love the show. I wanted to give an interesting trip report. I was out in Vegas last weekend. I don't generally play craps in Vegas because it's pretty high table minimums, and we still have $5 tables around where I'm at. Anyway, I go to Horseshoe Las Vegas, formerly Bally's, and I want to get my new dollar chips from the casino. I collect the single dollar chips. I go up to a craps table with about 5 people. I buy in for $100, basically just going to play a quick 6 and 8, and I noticed that the shooter has already hit 2 points. I went ahead and placed the 6 and 8, and then she's at that point pretty quick. Her next point then was the 10s, and then she hits the 10s, and all of a sudden, she is now up to 4 numbers, rolls the 6, and now is up to 5 numbers. Nobody is on the fire bet. If I were playing, I wouldn't be on the fire bet either, but I had to laugh because I thought of you guys and the Crap Vegas guys and how everyone would be losing their mind. She did actually have the 6 point established, but she didn't end up rolling that number. Anyway, I ended up winning about $160 just playing those numbers, and I was just trying to get a dollar chip, so I was happy. I tipped the dealers and apologized that nobody was playing it. The shooter herself was only playing the pass line, but it was definitely an interesting trip for craps for the one time I actually played. Anyway, love the show. Thank you very much for what you do, and I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, at the craps table, if there's a fire bet, they will keep track of the numbers rolled even if nobody has made the fire bet.
Yeah.
It's smart on the casino's part because, when the fire bet would have hit, they can look at you and say, well, look how much money you lost because you didn't bet on the fire bet.
Right, in your face.
Yeah, exactly. Hope you learned your lesson. Bet it next time.
The game stops. The dealers all take a lap around the pit. In your face. Nobody bet it.
Thanks for not tipping us. Yeah. All right. Next up is our buddy Robin from Anytime Gambling.
Well, hello. How are you? How you doing? Here's a brief report from our cruise to Bermuda out of Boston on the NCL Pearl, which was one of their smaller and older ships. It was definitely packed. It was the week of kids' school vacations. So one suggestion, never go to Bermuda during school vacations because it was just packed with kids. The casino is a decent size. They had the usual blackjack, $10 minimum. They have the Royal Match side bet, baccarat, roulette, craps with a $10 minimum. There's no all tall, all small, or fire bet. Poker tournaments, slot tournaments, a good array of brand new slots. Video poker included All-Star 2 multi-game machines as well as numerous Game King pay tables. We're not as good, but as good as or better than many Caesar properties, and especially much better than our main casinos and Rhode Island Bally's casinos here in New England. They also had Mississippi Mud and Pai Gow Poker, which is what most of my story is going to be about today. Norwegian Cruise Lines has now added the fortune bonus to the Pai Gow tables that they have also added to many of their ships. Their reasoning is basically Pai Gow wasn't enough of a draw by itself, so they have added the side bet to try to get more people to play. I've played Pai Gow for only about 5 years, but something happened that I never experienced. It seems that the shuffle machine at the table, which they only had one of, it completely broke down and had to be taken away for repair. So instead of shutting the table down, they went old school. A dealer was called in who had actually done this before. She dealt all 7 hands on the table, going left to right and then right to left alternately until she got to the final 4 cards, and then handed out the cards to the spots being played. A little gold domed case with 3 dice was used always for determining the starting hand, whether it was the shuffle master or the hand dealt single deck. I thought it was fun. It made a slower game even slower, but the other player and I didn't mind. Just a little side report, also they had 2 individual bubble crap machines. I guess they're called baby bubble crap, I don't know. And 2 roulette machines. I played the bubble craps. I made $100 at a time when I needed to make $100, so that was all good. One last suggestion, do not go to Bermuda during April, also because it was cold, it was rough, windy. We didn't even get off the ship because our excursions were canceled. Probably next time we go to Bermuda, it will be in the summer. So, have a great day. Hope this was helpful, and we'll catch you later.
All right. Thanks, Robin.
All right.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it before, because now when you play Pai Gow Poker, it's all from a shuffle machine. And usually there is a button that they press that displays a random number between 1 and 7, and then that determines who gets the first hand. But old school, and certainly we spent plenty of hours playing this way, the dealer would deal out all 7 hands in front of them. And it's just like Robin said. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then instead of putting the next card back on hand number 1, they put it on hand number 7 and go the opposite way. So they deal from left to right, then from right to left. That's just the tradition of dealing Pai Gow. And then, they've got the 3 dice in there, very much like the dice cup that we talked about, 3 dice baccarat on the last show. They shake that, and then that determines who gets the first hand. So, I kind of miss that in a way, since that's how
I do too.
That's how I was brought up.
Right. That's traditional Pai Gow. And you know what a traditionalist I am when it comes to Pai Gow.
Yeah, I sure do, Dr. Mike. You're upset about all these new rules, like
machines,
no
and
more
stuff.
shift and bigger bases and.
Well, you gotta be happy when you get to do something too. Now, in his case, I assumed maybe the dealer was shaking the cup.
Well, yeah, usually,
and when the dealer shakes the cup, it's boring. They do one.
Yeah, they don't do
open
much.
it.
Yeah,
but when players get to shake the cup, when that rotates around the table, that is fun.
Yeah, if you're able to bank. So again, you can't bank in face-up Pai Gow, but if you're able to bank at the Pai Gow poker table, they should let you shake the dice if it is a game with dice. If not, it'll still be the dealer that presses the button that determines, who gets the first hand. Yeah.
But that dice shaking is fun, and watching them deal is fun. Yeah, we had many years of that.
Yes, we did.
I guess we can't complain. The youngsters out there, they don't know what they're missing.
Yep. It's a whole new world. They wouldn't like that old way, even though that's the tradition.
What the hell's wrong with him?
Next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Brad at Tallahassee, giving you a trip report from Harrah's Cherokee. Normally, I'm a Biloxi guy playing at Harrah's Gulf Coast and the IP, but my wife had a conference in Cherokee, North Carolina. What am I going to do? Not go and shoot craps while she's there? I will say, at Cherokee, it is the only gambling game in town. So, unless you're going to the mountains anyway, if you're looking for a beachy place in the southeast, Biloxi may be it. But I have to admit, I loved Harrah's Cherokee, and I would definitely go back. There's a few towers. Cherokee Tower is the newest one, but it's the farthest one away from the casino. So if you're looking for luxury, I would say the Cherokee Tower is the one. But if you don't want to do as much walking, you may want to stick with some of the older towers. It's a non-smoking casino in most of the areas. Craps tables were great. They had a crapless table that was $15 minimum. I actually hit the all tall, small, back-to-back. And for the next 3 days, the dealers knew my name. So that was great. All the dealers were really upbeat. I had a dealer teach me Mississippi Stud. His name was Will. He was super excited. And even as I was bleeding money, it was just a blast. Everybody was super nice on craps. You paid your VIG up front for the buy at $20. Poker room was great. Rake was a little high. It's a 10% rake starting at $7 on 1-2. But like I will say, if you're in the North Carolina area, South Carolina, or you just want to take a trip to the Smoky Mountains, I highly recommend Cherokee. It was all in all a great experience. Just know if you're going to Cherokee, really the casino, and then the mountain stuff is all there is to do. And there's only one cab company. There's no Lyft, no Ubers. So make sure you either rent a car or have a car that's going to give you reliable transportation around Cherokee, North Carolina. It's just a few hours from Atlanta. So, and they're a sponsor of the Braves. So, if you want to go to a Braves game, if you want to go gamble, you can kill two birds with one stone. I love your show, and I look forward to having another trip to Biloxi soon. Have a great day.
All right, another glowing review of Harrah's Cherokee.
Yeah, Mark, an excellent call, wasn't that?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what got me right when he started off?
What's that?
He had no choice but to go.
Well, of course.
What could he do?
Your wife is at a conference where they have gambling.
Really? You have no choice.
You have no choice.
You have to go and play some craps.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. That's the kind of attitude people should have, Mark.
I loved how he was talking about how good the dealers were when he was playing Mississippi Stud, which he had just learned. And he was still having having a good time while you're losing money. That's why good dealers are so important. It's good for the player. It's good for the casino. Everybody's happy.
Right.
Yeah.
Everyone's happy.
Yep.
But what's the limit? What's the dollar limit on being happy?
What?
You know what I mean?
No.
At what point have you lost so much that this isn't that much fun?
Oh, what? Well,
no matter how nice the dealer is.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and I say that it will depend on the person and your financial situation in life.
Okay. Well, that's a generic answer.
I'd like you to give me your answer when we get off mic. So when we're done, you tell me when it can be the most fun you're having, but that dollar amount, what's that going to be? You tell me.
That dollar
I'll let
amount.
you do that off mic.
There's so many factors. I mean, the dealer has nice looking hands. You might stay longer.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. You're fascinated by the hands. Just can't look
sexy
away.
Arms or something.
Sure. Of course.
Something like that.
It's a lot of
But
things.
I have a dollar amount in
All
my
right.
head.
Tell me afterwards. Okay.
All right.
All right. Next up is Julia.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. It's Julia from the Pacific Northwest. And I was just driving out to go mountain biking, listening to your guys' April 10 Diamond Joe Dubuque show. And a couple things that came up in one of the calls made me laugh so hard I had to really focus on my driving. The first was the caller who said Park MGM is perfect for poorly dressed middle-aged folks. And you know what? I laughed so hard at that because Park MGM is my favorite casino hotel on the Strip, and I feel super comfortable there. And I think it's because I'm a middle-aged, poorly dressed person. It really called to me. The other thing that made me laugh was you guys talking about sherbet and ice cream. That made me think of my recent trip where I stayed at the Wynn. And I discovered that I really like face-up Pai Gow Poker. At the Wynn, the levels were pretty high. I saw minimums rarely 25, mostly 50 and 100. And my second day there, I just really wanted to play some Pai Gow. And I thought, you know, what's available is 50. Play it at 50. Worked out okay. But yeah, you guys always crack me up. Hope to see you sometime. Maybe I'll make it to Biloxi one of these days.
All right. Thanks, Julia. Yeah. There's no ice cream. All there is sherbet. You got to eat the sherbet.
You eat the sherbet. What can you do?
Yep.
What's your favorite sherbet? Did we talk about that?
Yeah, we did a little bit. I like rainbow sherbet.
Yeah, I like rainbow. Yeah. The lime and the raspberry are what I like.
Yeah, that is
lime
good.
And
I do kind of like them mixed up. You know, they'll mix them with like a 7-Up, some kind of soda. So it's like a freezy. Or anyway, yeah, I do kind of like that.
It's good. Yeah. The other day, I was telling Lynn, I said, you know, the end of the school year's coming up and the kindergartners have a little picnic party. I think I'm going to bring ice cream.
Yeah.
And she said, what are you going to bring? And I said, you know, I'm just going to bring vanilla and chocolate.
Okay. Any toppings?
You know, yeah, toppings. Of course.
Well, then okay.
Of course. Yeah. You can't have ice cream without toppings unless you're at a soft serve place.
Yeah.
It's either that or Neapolitan. What do you think?
Oh, Neapolitan's pretty good. The problem with Neapolitan, though, is if there's a flavor that a kid doesn't like, he or she won't eat that. You know, they'll just leave the chocolate. They'll eat the vanilla. So that's always a risk. No, I think you're right. Just vanilla and chocolate.
Yeah, see, that's what I think too. I've never turned away any form of ice cream.
Yeah.
So, you know, I can't relate to that myself. But I love saying Neapolitan.
Well, again, you know what Julia's saying. Hey, if there's only $50 face-up Pai Gow Poker, play the $50 face-up Pai Gow Poker. You got no choice, right?
I hope she was with somebody. Oh, no, we can't play that. You wimp. We're playing $50. Let's do it.
I just want to say, please gamble responsibly. All right. We don't necessarily play the $50 Pai Gow Poker if it's beyond your bankroll. No, I just want to go on. We joke a lot on this show. We're a couple of clowns having some fun. Please gamble responsibly.
Mark, you would have told Julia, please gamble responsibly. And I would have said to Julia, play your best Pai Gow.
That's good too. Play your best. I'll tell you, this whole poorly dressed middle-aged people at Park MGM has really struck a chord with a lot of our listeners.
Well, they should have more casinos for us. They should have more casinos for us.
I think that's so great.
I don't know if I'm middle-aged anymore.
No, you're not. We talked about this already. You're going down to 4 Queens.
Yeah, I'm going down to 4 Queens. But I like to hang with the middle-aged people because I fit the poorly dressed.
Yeah, you certainly do.
Let me tell you a quick story.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, the other day, the little guy that I take care of most of the day, you know, he had some issues and I got peed on 3 times.
Okay.
So I was really wet and I came home on my lunch break to changed my clothes, was going out of the house with a jug of water for myself, dropped the jug, hit the ground, exploded, got me all wet again. Had to go back in the house and change clothes again. So when I got to school, it's like, you know, 40 degrees and I come back, I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt.
So that's all you had.
Like, yeah, that's all I had. I explained it to him. Look, I only have a limited number of poor outfits to wear. So this is what was left in the closet, I'm not wasting money on clothes.
You need to maybe account for the fact that you're at a point in your life where you're going to get a lot more liquid on you than previously.
Yes. Yeah,
and maybe buy some more outfits.
More clothes. Yeah. I've noticed a lot more food and liquid getting on me.
Sometimes when you're completely alone.
That's how they're going to start measuring your age. How much liquid do you get on you on an average
day? Your doctor, right?
Yeah, there's a thing on the doctor's thing. How much liquid would you say?
Don't you need to check like my mental capacity? Well, that's what I'm doing. How much liquid gets on you during a typical day?
Yeah. Solid matter and liquid.
Solid
What
matter.
would you say is the most?
Oh my gosh.
God.
Let's move on. Next call.
That's a new shirt.
Hey guys, it's Rev Ken from Tulsa, and I have been having the gambling itch for a while now. We do have a few casinos here locally in Tulsa, but it's occupational hazard for me to be in one of them, and so I have found myself lately watching YouTube videos of people playing blackjack and roulette and whatnot, and I've stumbled upon this one guy who's always playing on a cruise ship and was promoting something called UR Comp, and was wondering if you guys have heard of that, have ever looked into it. Apparently they'll match any kind of casino offers, and you can turn it into a lot of free cruises, and seemed like maybe a good idea to do with the listeners sometime. I was in Oklahoma City today and made a stop at the Grand Casino in Shawnee. I don't recommend it. They have antes on all of the table games, which is horrible. It's pretty common in Oklahoma. I'm wondering if you know, is that common elsewhere? Do you know of other places that require that? I did get to play some Ultimate Texas Hold'em, lost a little there, went to a blackjack table. I didn't realize it was a free bet blackjack table, which I wasn't familiar with. Worked out well for me, though. You have to push if the dealer has a 22, but 9, 10, or 11, you get a free double. The casino pays your double, and same on the splits as well, and worked out really well for me, and ended up winning about $300, and on my way out threw $20 on a slot machine and won another $200. So it was a good little trip, and I'm glad I made the side trip. Enjoy the show, and thanks for your work.
All right, thanks. Yeah, I think free bet blackjack is the best blackjack variant out there. At least I enjoy it more than any of the other ones.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
And, think of how many times you've been on a table where you end up splitting eights and then doubling down, et cetera, and you've got way more money out there than you originally intended based on your original bet, and then the dealer hits to 21, right? It's that terrible feeling. At least here...
You just remember those, Mark.
Well, of course, I know. At least here, you're still only risking that initial bet, but you could get paid on all these splits and doubles and everything like that.
Yeah,
so
free bet blackjack's a very good game. I mean, it's no Spanish 21.
No, of course not.
It's close.
One thing that I don't think we've discussed on the floor, so with free bet blackjack, the free double downs are generally only on 9, 10, and 11. You can get free splits on anything except for 10s. But for the doubling down, you can only get the free double down for 9, 10, 11. That doesn't mean you can't double down with your own money in other situations, like, say, a soft 17 against a 6. Right. They won't do the free one for you, but you still can double down in that situation. Head over to Wizard of Odds, do a search on free bet blackjack if you want to see, the adjusted basic strategy for that game. But for my money, if anybody asks me, hey, what's your favorite blackjack variation? I would say free bet blackjack. And then again, he's talking about how Oklahoma, antes on the table games, that is still a thing. You can find some Oklahoma casinos where they'll say, no ante, but that's usually more of a promotion, and the casino is basically paying the ante themselves. But that's just one of the unfortunate things about table games at Oklahoma casinos. It's not, the slots are all the same, and video poker, you don't have to pay an extra ante for those. It's only on the table games.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the people of Oklahoma to have an uprising and end that.
Yeah, it's going to have to be some kind of big protest. Yeah, violent
Yeah, it's going to be a
takeover.
big violent protest. I mean, get the Texans to go along with the Oklahomans because a lot of people in Texas go up there and play.
I'll tell you, if Texas legalizes casino gambling in some way, then Oklahoma would probably change their laws because I bet a lot of their clientele's coming up from Texas. Yep.
Right.
He's talking about you are comped. Yeah, I signed up for it a while back, and pretty much all the offers that I was getting was for cruises, which I'm not really interested in. So keep that in mind. If you want to check it out, yeah, you can sign up, and they ask you to tell them, what tier level you are, like the highest tier level you have at any particular property, and go from there. So I'll let people decide on their own. It just wasn't for me.
Yeah, I get them all the time. They're always popping up on my phone, and I'm not going to be going on really any cruises.
Yeah.
When your kids are grown up, too, I mean, for me anyway, there's not a lot of reason to go on a cruise. When they were younger, we'd go like on a Disney cruise or
once again, something. Mike, you have come up with just the opposite opinion of virtually the rest of the world. This is when people want to go on cruises. Their kids are gone.
Nope. You just go to a casino, Mark. There are plenty of land-based casinos with better rolls.
Okay, I'm not saying don't go to a casino. I'm saying who's more likely to want to go on a cruise? Young parents, right, with 2- and 3-year-olds, or retired people whose kids have moved on?
How about young parents or middle-aged parents with young children whose uncle works for Disney and gets some free trips?
All right, Disney cruise is a whole other beast.
No, there are older people who like cruises, of course, but there are a lot of older people who don't like them because you have to, getting on the ship and getting off and, doing all that. They'd rather go to a more relaxed kind of vacation.
All right. So if you asked all the older people, it's very possible that the majority don't want to go on cruises. But if you look at people who do go on cruises, I think it's going to skew a little older.
Yeah. Although these party cruises have become a thing now for young people.
All right. This conversation is over. Last call.
Mark, Dr. Mike, this is Nick from Denver, Colorado. How are you? Long-time listener. I've called in once or twice before. I got a trip report for you. I was recently in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area for work, and I stopped by Parx Casino in Bensalem, which is just maybe 5 minutes outside of Philadelphia proper, northeast of it. Went in with $350 and walked up to the craps table. I'm usually a pass line player with a crap check to cover it and place 6 and 8. Pretty conservative, like to make my money last as long as possible. I get up to the table, it's a $15 minimum, pretty standard these days, that's okay. I put my 3 nickels down on the pass line and I forget my crap check. What do you know? First roll is a 3. So crap check would have covered it, no worries, lost my $15. I go ahead and I make my next bet and I try to toss in my $2 crap check and they toss it back to me and they said $5 minimum on the center of the table. I think this is a terrible business decision. I don't know if you guys have talked about this before. I understand that they want to keep the game going and some idiot walking up the table with $23 and placing a bunch of hard way dollar bets, all of that stuff slows the game down. But for me, that's my favorite way to tip. I like to throw in 2 singles and say hard way, whatever it is, 2-way player controlled. And they wouldn't even let me do that. I think it's a really bad business decision when those center bets are all sucker bets. The casino's limiting their profitability. And if you want to keep the game going fast, just make it a minimum buy-in. $100 buy-in solves your problem of random people coming up with $10 and saying, I want $1 all across the middle, I get it, but for my money, it's just a terrible business decision. Of course, the very next roll was another craps number. I picked up my chips, walked away, and went and played about 3 hours at Pai Gow Poker and only lost $60 over 3 hours, which was a blast. I found the dealers at Pai Gow at Parx Casino to be super friendly. The pit was awesome. It was such a good time. Meanwhile, the dealers at the craps table for the 2 minutes that I was there seemed super grumpy and not willing to engage, even when I made it clear that I was trying to tip. If you guys could talk about this a little bit, just what you think and your opinions, that'd be great. Thank you so much for all you do. Bye.
Yeah, plenty of times we have seen higher minimums on those center bets on $25 tables and higher. Like at Harrah's Southern California, all of the $25 tables, they have a $5 minimum on all the center action. This is the first time, though, that we've heard of a $15 table having that limit as well.
Yeah, because usually it is $1 for $15 tables.
Yeah. Nick, we agree with you that this is pretty crappy. I don't know, though, that it's necessarily them wanting the game to go more quickly. Because, Mike, how many times have we seen at a $25 table, well, somebody will say, oh, give me a $4 horn. And they'll say, oh, sorry, there's a $5 minimum on each of the bets. So if you want to make a horn, it's got to be $20. So then they say, oh, okay, well, make it 20. Right. You know, I mean, that does happen. It gets people to bet more than they intended to. Not everybody, of course. But I think that's more of their rationale. But again, a $15 table, no, I think it should be $1 minimums on all those.
Yeah, I kind of understand it. Not so much the slowing down, because dealers are pretty fast at paying those out. Sometimes I think, honestly, it's because they just don't want a lot of crap there in the middle when people are rolling. Yeah,
I mean, it could be, but again...
You know, some guy puts $3 on all the hard ways, another guy puts $4, and you got stacks of chips out there.
I understand, but it's a $15 table.
Right.
And especially...
Oh, I 100% agree. They should allow dollars.
You know, in Nick's case, right, he's doing a crap check, right? This is like a hedge. Right. Well, he shouldn't have to put $5 out as a hedge against a $15 bet, right? You know, so anyway...
Right. It all boils down to, that's their rule.
Yep.
And if they're losing out on money or if they're doing it to make more money, that's their choice. And I guess as a consumer, our choice is to decide not to go there.
Well, and if the dealers are grumpy, absolutely walk away. So
yeah. You know, it's one thing though when it's the only one near you. That's where it gets weird because it's like, they're grumpy and I don't like the rules, but I got to drive an extra hour to go somewhere else.
That's right. I guess I'll have to eat the sherbet.
Yep, eat the sherbet. You can find enjoyment in sherbet.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Kentucky Derby coming up this Saturday, May 6th. They have not officially drawn the field or post positions or anything, but Forte looks like he's going to be the horse to beat.
Yeah, no, I haven't really been following it. I won't even be able to watch it. I'll have to DVR it.
Oh, why?
Well, it's a prom next Saturday,
you're dealing
and
with prom,
we're helping out, setting stuff up and tearing stuff down.
Oh, I was going to say,
I'm working the blackjack table, Mark, at the post prom.
Oh, okay, at the post prom. Hey, where are all the kids? At the post prom. I thought they were coming for casino night after the prom. That's right. You work. You work at the elementary school, but of course, your daughter goes to high school.
High school, yeah. They have a huge post-prom thing, to keep the kids from
that's good.
Going out and getting in trouble. And there's a lot of games. Blackjack's one of them. Which
Is it really?
Doing. Yes.
Oh, you're not kidding.
No, I'm not kidding. I'm dealing blackjack. Yeah, they get like tokens.
How would I have possibly known that you weren't kidding?
No, I don't know. If I had said craps, you might have figured, well, those high school kids don't know craps. I asked for that. I wanted to do craps, but they said that, it's just too hard to get a table and stuff.
Okay.
Everything. Where blackjack, they can just,
Well, have fun, Dr. Mike.
There's plenty of games. They give a lot of prizes away. They raise money all year, and then they buy a bunch of prizes and stuff. And kids, pretty nice prizes, like a 50-inch TV and, all kinds of good stuff.
Well, absolutely.
I'm hoping to get some students there who are really into the blackjack, and then maybe after it ends at 2 we come over here and we have a little side blackjack for real money.
Okay. Yeah. That
I'm going to tell them all the rules. Always take insurance.
That guy that works at the elementary school, he invited a bunch of high schoolers over to his house at 2 a.m. the other night.
I don't think that'd go over too well. Well, that's what we were doing when we were seniors.
Well, yeah, but I don't think there was an adult supervising the whole thing.
It wasn't Warren? Warren wasn't
I don't
there.
think so. All right, one more thing before we go. So, Gambling with an Edge, podcast Gambling with an Edge, is coming to an end. Bob Dancer and Richard Munchkin are calling it quits. This is a shame because they provided great information for the community. They are, well, like the title says, Gambling with an Edge. They would interview advantage players. They're both advantage players themselves, Bob Dancer in video poker and Richard Munchkin in blackjack. And it's a shame to see it go because they were providing information that I don't think any other podcasts in the community were. You know, we're a recreational gambling podcast, you know, so we're not providing a lot of information on how you can beat a lot of these games. But some of their interviews were just absolutely fascinating. So I think they've got about 2 more episodes left. Give them a listen if you have a chance, and best of luck to them moving forward.
Yeah, I always enjoyed when they had Bob Narcissian.
Oh, yeah, God, the lawyer. Oh, yeah, those were great episodes.
Those are fascinating for me because, you know, not being a lawyer, I like to stay informed on these things.
Yeah, and it was sort of, how do I put it? It was really for gamblers. This was really, hey, we're going to talk about gambling. Let's get some gambling information into your ears.
Right. Yeah, no, it was for serious gambling.
Yeah. And who knows, it may come back in some capacity too. They're not completely saying, you know, this is absolutely it. But at least for now, just a couple more episodes.
Well, maybe some younger guys who are advantage players will take up the baton and
maybe
get a show.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some recurring donations. Brian and Sarah, Josh, James, and the guys over at Crap Vegas. And, you know, they've got a Patreon over there at Crap Vegas. They put out extra episodes for Patreon members. And those are pretty fun episodes. They kind of take a deeper dive into their experiences and what have you. So think about maybe joining their Patreon and getting that extra content. We also got a donation from listener Craig. Karma donation for a last-minute 12-hour Vegas trip. No luggage, no hotel room, just meeting an old friend for food, drinks, and craps. Then fly out at 5 a.m. and get back to work before anyone knows I'm gone. Totally healthy behavior. Dr. Mike approves.
Yeah.
Hey, we did it. I think those days are over for us, but we did it.
We're a little too old for that now. That'd probably kill me. But, those were fun days, weren't they, Mark?
They sure were, Dr. Mike. Oh, my gosh. We've got stories.
My favorite thing to do was we'd take a short trip. We'd come back. We'd be walking through the San Diego airport out to our car, and somebody would be walking into the airport, and I would say, "Welcome to San Diego."
Makes absolutely no sense because the people walking against us are either leaving San Diego for, you know, some other location, or they're picking somebody up. And Mike got such a kick out of it. Welcome to San Diego. If we'd been walking the other way, it would have made sense. Doesn't make any sense.
It's what happens when you're tired and you've been gambling
every time, like 12, people. Every time. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listing showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks at youcanbetonThat.com/TV-listings, and our list of gambling-related movies at youcanbetonThat.com/movies. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at youcanbetonThat. And on Facebook at facebook.com/youcanbetonThat. Finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review of the show. We love getting your feedback. All right, Dr. Mike, it's all yours.
I'm just laughing to myself about, you know, you're not the most patient person, right, Mark? I mean, you'd probably agree with that.
I'm absolutely not the most patient person. It's something I definitely need to work on.
You put up with me for a long time. And I got to give you credit for that. You put up with that for a long time.
There was one time we were driving to Vegas. You were the one driving because I was exhausted. I needed to get some sleep. And every time I was about to fall asleep, I was just dozing off, you'd say, well, let me ask you this, real loud. And then you'd ask me something so inane. And then I'd be wide awake again and then start to doze off again. Well, let me ask you this.
I remember that.
Uh-huh.
Well, let me ask you this. And then it's just the
so stupid. How many beans do you think the average bowl of chili has?
Those are the good old days, Mark. And
they sure
nothing's
were.
changed. That's what's bad. That's what's bad. You think I would have matured?
Oh my gosh! And we're giving you a ride from New Orleans Airport to Biloxi.
Yeah.
And Sherry's
Tell
going to
Sherry-
be with us. So I'm going to have to
tell
warn
Sherry to-
her. Let me
Tell Sherry to get ready.
tell you what happens when you're in the car with Mike for at least an hour.
Well, it'll be fun no matter what.
Yeah,
we always have a
looking
good
forward to it.
time.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm looking forward to it too. And be nice to go to an Atlanta Braves game, but I don't think there's time for that.
Well, no, he was he was
I
saying
know he was talking about when you're in North Carolina.
yeah, and even so, it's like 2 hours 45 minutes. It's not like just go real quick. Yeah, it's a bit of a drive, but yeah.
And the Padres aren't playing them anyway.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Good night.
Mike, Mark, that was wonderful. I had no idea you were so talented. The audience is going to love you.